G'day everyone, it's Annette here and welcome to my channel. In this video I'm using two more molds that I've never used before, and I'm doing a technique I've never done before. It's a bit of a twist though. It's a well-known technique which is fabric and resin, but I do something a bit different which you'll see towards the end. These are two molds that I've never used before, and I thought I'd do a technique I've never done before. My first layer is going to be just clear and let that cure. The resin I'm using today is Artco Diamond Rock Extra Hard Resin. It's a 1-to-1 ratio mix. It's very tough and scratch resistant. Hopefully by using that when these come out of the mold, because the bottom part here will then be my top part, I won't have to do a top coat. I'll go and get my resin mixed up and we'll get started. The resin I'm using is available at Harry & Wilmer. I'm not affiliated with Harry & Wilmer. I don't get paid to promote them. I just like a lot of their products. This first layer I'm only doing very thin, only just to cover the mold. It's 24 hours since I've done that layer. There are loads and loads of videos on YouTube regarding this. Most of them use organza. I don't have any and I live way too far away from anywhere to get any. Let's do the small one first. For this layer I'll use a low viscosity or a thin type of resin. The only one I have really is my Artco Crystal River casting resin. It's a 2-to-1 ratio mix. It can take up to 72 hours to cure, so I may not get back to this for a couple of days. The colour that I'm going to start off with is Octopus Fluids Resin Ink in Aronia. I have cut the material slightly bigger than my little tray. If I have made this too small, there'll be some vacant areas around the edge, and just in case, got some glitter to put in there if I need to. I'll go and get the resin mixed up and we'll get going. It's recommended to use a thinner or a lowly viscous, like runny water type of resin mix, so that you can manipulate the material and have longer to do so than you usually do with a 1-to-1 medium viscosity. You can come out like 3-4 hours later and still be able to manipulate whatever it is you have in your resin. The idea is to get as many bubbles as possible out as you manipulate your resin. I found this part extremely hard to do because I'm not using the organza, and this is not as flimsy as organza, but I tried my best and I kind of think it worked in the end. If you have too much material, it'll overhang and you'll have to trim it before you put the next layer on, and not enough, as I said, you'll get a gap at the sides. I started out pushing my material in at the edges and then sort of making little pinched wavy movements towards the middle. I also use at the popsicle sticks, as you can see, but when I swapped to doing at the bigger tray, I decided to just use my hands, and honestly, I found the gloved fingers work far more better for me. Even though I'm using my river casting resin, which can be used for deep pours, this layer is again only very, very thin, only enough to pull the material in. Oh, I also forgot to say that when I applied the material, I think it was best applied the way that I was doing, which is to fold it in half and put that middle bend down into the resin and let the resin grab the material out towards the edges. I did come out after about 2 hours and 4 hours and pinch the material a bit more. At that later stage, the resin had thickened a little bit, so the folds held up a lot better when I pinched them then. This side is cured. I'm just going to back these with some black. As you can see, I did put on some glitter around the edges. I came out really late last night and squished it a bit more, and I just wasn't confident there was still fabric around the sides. I'll mix up some Artco artist resin, which is 1:1 ratio mix. Mix in a bit of black resin paste, and we'll get that down and see how it looks tomorrow. For this technique and videos that I've watched on YouTube, a lot of people usually just do the last layer a bit darker to the one previously, but there was a reason I wanted this black, which you will see. So I made sure mine was quite dark in colour. I could only just see my stir stick through on the other side. One thing that I have noticed is that I did have a couple of folds that stuck up above my mould. Maybe when I came out really late, I should have thought about that and pushed them down. It's just something to take into account if you do this yourself. I had my material maybe about 1 centimetre wider than my moulds when I cut it out, but I really think I should have done it about 2 centimetres. Right, we'll get these out and see what they look like. With the leftover resin I had, I did do a couple of other little projects, so I'll quickly get those out first. They were just a coaster or a candle holder. I think it's got a crystal effect on it. These aren't, or don't have the material in them. I just used a holographic wrapping paper I found in a cheap shop. Just this stuff. Ready? Oh wow, that is actually gorgeous. Look at that. Very pretty. This one, the same. Beautiful. Very nice. How stunning is that? Alright, I suspect that these two won't show up that great because I've done the black back and the purple at the front, but there was a reason for that, which will become more apparent probably a bit closer to the end. So we get the little one out first. Oh, it is. It's actually quite pretty, look. Very nice. I had no idea whether the material I used would work because it's not organza, but it looks like it has. And the big fella. Oh, God. Ready? Woohoo! Look at that. Beautiful. Maybe I didn't need the glitter in there, but I kind of like the glitter in there anyway. Let's see if I can get this to do what I want. Ta-da! This is the bit I did differently. I used glow-in-the-dark material and also glow-in-the-dark glitter. The glow-in-the-dark material was a lot stiffer than if I'd used organza. It does have a sort of grainy look to it as you look through the resin, but I really like the effect. Here are some photos of the completed items I made during this pour. I'm going to make some more of these coasters and maybe a little tray to put them on, and I may record that for people as well later on. These are my 2 trays. The first couple of images are the smaller tray, and then these last few are the larger tray. If you try this technique, you pick a mould that has deeper edges so that you can do your layers. I really loved how these turned out in the end with my glow-in-the-dark material. My glow-in-the-dark glitter was from Harry and Wilma. This was such a fun project to do, and I thank you for coming along to have a look. Have a great day, everybody. Bye for now.